It gives me an esteemed honor to introduce our next speaker for the session on alternative fuels, hydrogen-powered vessels. Please join me in welcoming the one and only Miss Padmini Mellacheruvu, a former scientist at Indian Space Research Organization.
Hello.
She is presently a technology specialist in cryogenic and compressed gas fuels at Lloyds Register, UK. With over 8 years of experience in design, testing, maintenance and operations of cryogenic fuels and associated systems, Ms. Mellacheruvu brings invaluable expertise to the forefront of decarbonization efforts in the maritime industry. Before I bring her and her presentation, I'll have Captain Shaukat Mukherjee to say a few words.
Okay, so first of all, Padmini, if you're hearing this, and we are going live now, and thank you so much for gracing the occasion and as a special request. And you've been, your video and your news report of your being the hydrogen lady of maritime has gone really viral, and we are very proud to be hosting you at the FSM. And I would like to also thank Captain Mahendra Basin, without whose help we couldn't have got Padmini, reached out to Padmini, and he was instrumental. He was there at the office in UK, and he has helped a lot in getting Padmini across at FSM. So a big round of applause for Captain Basin. And thank you. And we now have the actual hydrogen lady of maritime talking about alternate fuels and hydrogen-powered vessels. Padmini.
Hello. Greetings everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of Future Skills Maritime for giving me this opportunity. Unfortunately, I couldn't be present there in person for the conference, but I'm glad that I'm getting this chance to interact with you all through this virtual format. Today, I'd like to give a brief introduction about hydrogen systems for marine applications. I'd like to start with why we should think about hydrogen and why the current demand for hydrogen as marine fuel. Shipping industry is under increasing pressure to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and carbon dioxide emissions. Overall, shipping contributes to around 3% of greenhouse gases worldwide. So IMO has set an ambitious goal of reducing these greenhouse gas emissions by at least 50% by 2050 compared to 2008 levels. So to meet these ambitious goals, there is a need to shift away from conventional fuels such as marine gas oil, heavy fuel, etc. and think about alternative fuels. There are several alternative fuels that could reduce greenhouse gas emissions as well as carbon footprint of international shipping. But each of these alternative fuels such as ammonia, biofuels, etc., batteries, all of them have their own unique challenges. For suppose, ammonia is highly toxic, so the toxicity is posing a huge challenge in using ammonia as fuel for passenger ships. Biofuels are a very good alternative fuel. However, the sustainable availability of biofuels to scale up to the level that international shipping needs is a challenge. So if biofuel is available at large scale, it will be a very good solution, but at the moment there is not much biofuel available that could meet the large scale demand of shipping. Batteries are good for short distance shipping, but for long distance shipping they become very heavy as well as occupy a lot of space, which is the reason why it's not a viable source for long distance shipping. Similarly, LNG and methanol, they are not completely zero carbon, so there may be a very good short-term solution, but they are not a long-term solution to completely reduce the greenhouse gas emissions or carbon dioxide emissions. So out of all these alternative fuels, hydrogen is a potential zero emission fuel capable of meeting shipping industry's energy needs. So as I mentioned, while there are multiple other solutions, hydrogen and e-fuels made with hydrogen are the only solutions that are both sustainable as well as scalable for industry needs in marine. There are several ways in which hydrogen can be produced, and the sustainability and the way to emissions depends on how hydrogen has been produced. One of the major sources of hydrogen currently is called grey hydrogen. So grey hydrogen is basically hydrogen produced from steam reforming of hydrocarbons using non-renewable resources. So this constitutes about 70% of the hydrogen available in the market today, and this is not a renewable or sustainable way of producing hydrogen. There is another hydrogen type called blue hydrogen. So during the steam reforming process, if the carbon is captured and stored, then we can reduce the carbon footprint, and this will be termed as blue hydrogen. Currently around 10 to 20% of hydrogen available is produced via this method called blue hydrogen. Then the most sustainable or renewable way of producing hydrogen is termed as green hydrogen. So the green hydrogen is basically hydrogen produced by electrolysis of water using renewable sources of energy for the electrolysis. If the power for electrolysis is generated through nuclear, then it is called pink hydrogen. Another way that recently researchers have discovered several resources of hydrogen underneath the earth. So these hydrogen reserves are termed as white hydrogen. So the research indicates that white hydrogen is also renewable and is a sustainable source of procuring hydrogen. If produced from nuclear or renewable energy sources, hydrogen can enable reduction of 100% well-to-wake greenhouse gas emissions. Coming to hydrogen storage options, one of the most common ways in which hydrogen is stored and transported is either in the form of a compressed gas or liquefied gas. So compressed gas of hydrogen is stored at around 200 to 700 bar, can even go up to 1000 bar, which is 100 megapascal at ambient temperature. And another way is such as a liquefied gas at cryogenic temperatures, where if the hydrogen gas is cooled to minus 253 degrees centigrade at 1 bar atmosphere, it will be converted into a liquid. So the need to go for either such high compression or low temperature cryogenic liquid is because of the very low volumetric energy density of hydrogen. The energy content of hydrogen per kg is very high. It's higher than any other fuel, but because of the very low density of either gas or the hydrogen liquid, the amount of energy present in 1 liter of hydrogen is very less. So this necessitates either very high compression or liquefaction to have viable amount of energy coming from 1 liter of hydrogen. Another upcoming way in which hydrogen to be stored are either metal hydrides or organic hydrides. So metal hydrides is basically hydrogen is adsorbed onto the surface of solid metals through a heat reaction, and organic hydrides is basically hydrogen stored into unsaturated hydrocarbons through chemical reactions. There is promising research going on in regards to organic hydrides, specifically liquid organic hydrides. Major advantage of using either metal hydrides or organic hydrides is safety. A major challenge with hydrogen is the flammability of hydrogen. So hydrogen can leak very easily, and the leaked hydrogen can catch fire very easily. So to reduce these risk factors, if hydrogen can be stored and transported either in metal hydrides or organic hydrides, the leakage and fire hazard of hydrogen will be substantially reduced. So coming to hydrogen energy production, we can use hydrogen through fuel cells. So in fuel cells, we get highest efficiency of converting hydrogen into energy, and currently it is about 50 to 60%, but if we are able to recover the waste heat coming out of this fuel cell process, the efficiency could go even higher. Similarly, combustion engines can also be used. Here the efficiency will be around 40 to 50%. So another advantage of hydrogen is blending. So even if we go for 50% mixture of heavy fuel oil with hydrogen, studies show that the carbon dioxide emissions could be reduced by around 43% per ton per kilo. So this means even if we are not able to go for 100% hydrogen on marine ships, blending of hydrogen with other conventional fuels or LNG can reduce the carbon footprint of a ship and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. That being said, there is a lot of opportunity for hydrogen as fuel. We are seeing a huge drive from governments, policymakers, as well as from within the marine industry itself to use hydrogen as fuel or carry hydrogen as a cargo. As early applications, we are seeing tugboats such as Hydro-Tug series and crew transfer vessels such as Hydro-Cat series, which are already in service. Similarly, Lloyds Register itself have several projects which range from passenger ferries, cruise ships, bulk carriers, and large luxury yachts, which use either liquid hydrogen or compressed hydrogen as fuel in either fuel cells or a gas combustion engine to produce energy. So there is a lot of joint development projects, joint industry projects, and academic research projects, technology demonstration projects that come up for short distance to medium distance shipping. And if these are successful, I'm sure that there is a lot of scope for hydrogen to be used as a marine fuel and as a cargo for long distance shipping also. Another advantage with hydrogen, even if hydrogen is not the only alternative fuel to be used in marine, there is still a lot of need for transporting hydrogen across the globe to facilitate deep decarbonization of other sectors. such as power, transport, buildings, industries, household applications, etc. Out of all these, shipping sits in the middle of them, and we would need to be carrying hydrogen as an energy carrier across the globe to facilitate this deep decarbonization. So I can safely say that there is a lot of future for hydrogen and a lot of opportunity for hydrogen to be used. With this, I come to the end of my presentation. What I would like everyone to take away from this presentation is there is a lot of opportunity for hydrogen both as a fuel and as an energy carrier. So I would urge everyone to take up interest in alternative fuels such as hydrogen, ammonia, because that I think is the future of shipping. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And we have to thank Padmini. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us.